The road to Cary starts today in Johnson Stadium in Greenville, North Carolina. It's the first round of the women's soccer championship, pitting the conference champions out of the MAC, the Siena Saints, taking on the Arizona State Sun Devils, an at-large participant out of the Pac-12 conference. These teams certainly coming in with momentum. Siena, the winners of the conference tournament, allowing just 3 goals all year. Arizona State, a goal-scoring machine as an offensive club. Welcome inside the broadcast booth here with Jason Hamilton, the head coach at ECU. Evan Budrovich getting you ready for the start of this matchup. And these differences, Siena very defensive-minded, Arizona State very offensive-minded. How do you see it playing out today?
It's going to be a great matchup. Whoever comes out and can execute their game plan should have success today.
Siena is featured by a fantastic junior leader in Emma McNeilis. How does she motivate this group? Yeah,
just a two-way player that kind of really, gets them going on both sides of the ball, covers a lot of ground. Coach talked about her work rate and a target that they'll have on set pieces. So she'll be key for them if they're going to get on the board today.
McNeilis and the Saints have to slow down one of the best in the Pac-12 conference for Arizona State. Nicole Douglas, second team all-conference. What does she do so well on the field?
Yeah, I think today they're going to see a team that's got numbers in and around the box, and her movement to create things to get her team to have opportunities instead of just settling for shots from distance is going to be really important. So if she can pull defenders out and find the ball and create things, will be really good for them.
First ever matchup between these programs, and when we come back, we'll give you starting lineups and what to expect with Arizona State and Siena here in the first round of the soccer championships.
For the playing of our national anthem. NCAA promotes good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and fans. We request your cooperation in supporting these student athletes and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, derogatory comments, or other intimidating actions directed at athletes, officials, team representatives, or other fans will not be tolerated on the grounds or loop. We appreciate your cooperation in creating a
Welcome back here in Greenville, North Carolina. It's the Siena Saints and the Arizona State Sun Devils. Winner of this matchup takes on number 9 Duke here on Saturday. How did we get to this point, reaching these teams into tournament action? Well, the Siena Saints, an upstart club that was picked very low, bottom of the league in the MAC coming into the conference, a dominant regular season. How about that defense? 5 shutouts on the year.
Defense wins championships. That's how I think about it.
Certainly, Coach, your days at ECU know very well defense so important for Siena, and they're taking on an Arizona State club that was a very rare at-large berth out of the Pac-12 conference. Think of the dominant teams like USC and UCLA in the league. But ASU has beaten both of those clubs, getting back to the tournament for the first time in 7 years.
Yeah, great start to the season for them, and a couple injuries hurt them there in the middle, but they're happy to be here. It should be a great game.
Graham Winkworth, the head coach at Arizona State, said this team has been rested the last 10 days. They have not played in over 2 weeks and are ready to get back on the field, see how they compete. It is unique. Arizona State traveling across the country, getting adjusted to East Coast time. Siena, a quick trip down the road out of Loudonville, New York. And these clubs who very rarely meet with how regional play typically takes place, with more pockets by your location. A nice matchup we get to see today.
Absolutely. I think that's what Graham said the other day to me, is he was excited to see some new teams that they don't usually get to see out at this event. And, you know, weather-wise, 80 degrees, nice and warm and sunny. So I think they're going to be pretty comfortable coming from out west. And
a perfect field here at Johnson Stadium on the campus of East Carolina. Siena will get things started 6-0-2 on the year, including a penalty kick win in the conference tournament. Arizona State at 8-5-2 with 4 conference wins. A big rebirth after not winning a single conference game in 2019.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they start here. Both teams talked about wanting to keep possession early and establish that to kind of have a rhythm in the game.
We are underway in the first of 3 games today in Greenville. And there's the captain for the Siena Saints, Sophia Dimkopoulos, sending it forward. 10 freshmen on the Siena club, only 4 seniors, a group that returns a bunch next season.
Definitely important for both these younger teams with not many players who've had experience here to settle in these first few minutes and really just calm their nerves.
Siena outscored their opponents 18-3 during the season. The club was very good at home, 4-0-2, their first real test on the road. Taking on an Arizona State team making their first tournament in 7 years. Graham Winkworth, who you've worked with very well in your conference, in your Sun Belt appearances, has rebuilt this program in year 4 and put Arizona State right back on the map as a Pac-12 program.
Absolutely. I know they were close last year, and they're excited to be here this year. He's got a good thing going out there.
The Siena Saints, led by Steve Karbowski, 194 wins in his career. And this is his 3rd tournament appearance for the Saints, really building this program over the last 2 decades as a Siena graduate. The amount of texts he got this week said was off the wall with the support from the community. Always neat to see.
That's great when you can be somewhere that long and really kind of establish the program you want and how to do things. It makes it easier from year to year with transition of players.
Here's the pressure from Olivia Wen, the junior midfielder, knocking it out. So Siena to throw. Arizona State led by Graham Winkworth. He's taking down some notes, chewing on gum. It's his way to relax before a game, especially during these long 90 minutes.
Yeah, Graham had a ton of success at his previous stop, South Alabama. Bested me in a couple conference tournaments and league titles, and he's got this program going in the right path already.
2-time Sun Belt Coach of the Year at South Alabama, getting Arizona State back to a level. Graham's saying this particular class of juniors and seniors could help build a tradition that puts Arizona State in the national rankings year in and year out, as they were all the way up to 16 this year. Here's a good service from Carlier. And that goes out, a goal kick for Siena.
Yeah, interesting watching these the teams out here train yesterday to prepare for this tournament. How much time was spent by each program on the amount of set pieces and what's going to be important to them, and knowing these games are going to be just such tight games that one play can make the difference. So that was nice to watch. You know, the amount of time and preparation that went into all of that.
That's Leslie Adams, the junior goalkeeper, to send it away for Siena. She is 5th in the country in save percentage. And she will be tested today against an Arizona State club that's 4th in the Pac-12 in scoring. That one high forward is Ashley Serafin for Siena. Balanced club, 4 players with at least 3 goals this year. Arizona State starred by Nicole Douglas. We mentioned her in the pregame, 2nd team all-conference. And here's the pressure on Douglas, able to funnel it back.
Coach Winkworth talked about being patient with his team and moving the ball around and really just opening things up a little bit and not getting frustrated. They knew that Siena was going to have numbers behind the ball, and so looks like they're settling in here pretty nice and working on what they talked about this week.
This is Lieska Carlier sending it forward. That's a good defensive shot. It is off Arizona State, testing the back line of Carrie Crone, the junior attack, but they call her Pips on the defensive side, number 3 in the green. There's the pressure on Emily McNeilis, who had the game-winning penalty kick. That was in regulation, awarded a PK in the second half of that win for Siena over Monmouth.
Exactly what you look for in a leader. Pressure's on, steps up, and able to capitalize for a team and move on to the tournament.
Third ever conference appearance to the NCAAs for Siena. Taking down a Monmouth team that had really been dominant in the MAC conference. 3 straight titles. And Steve Karbowski happy to get his club involved. He grew up just 13 miles away from campus in Loudonville, New York, and glad to bring his girls back today. There's a foul at midfield. Set pieces have been critical for Siena, but they'll move quickly on this one. Now Grace George gets tripped up in an early turnover. Alexia Delgado is pressured. She's able to retain possession. An Arizona State club with victories over UCLA and USC in this tournament. Also battling Washington to a draw, fellow tournament opponent who picked up a win last night over Liberty. Then Durser sends it out. Now a run for Di Williams, who gets a piece. Good deflection from Deanna Lamino. That's where Siena's going to be tested today, that back four that have only surrendered 3 goals this season.
Absolutely, and Coach Winkler talked about, getting balls wide, getting to the end line, not just settling for things from distance, and great opportunity that comes from both those last 2 plays.
An early chance for Leslie Adams, who inherited the starting goalkeeper position for Taylor Dorado, who was the 2-time MAC goalkeeper of the year. That's big shoes to fill, and she's done a nice job. This will be an Arizona State throw.
Yeah, great service in there. Finds a little gap between 2 players, gets a head on it, but good positioning by the goalkeeper to make the save.
That attempt by Olivia Wen on the shot on target. Arizona State would love to get its offense going. Scoreless in 3 straight matches to end the year. Now Williams dispossessed outside the 18. Here come the Siena Saints. Good speed for Jayana Mons, the all-conference forward. There's Carrie Crone serving at middle. That was an interesting feed in front. Had a runner there in Mons, but just out in front for the goal kick.
That's what Siena needs to do. Just make a few extra passes there. Don't panic when you win it. Take the pressure off your back line and play down in Arizona State's half for a little bit.
Here's Julia Cascapera, the sophomore goalkeeper, a transfer from West Virginia. Who was also a black belt in karate. I would not want to mess with her inside the post. But she has been critical defensively. Here comes Arizona State. Olivia Wen patrolling the middle. Good service in front. And that'll stay Arizona State throw. There's Lucy Johnson to feed it in. Chance to turn for Wen, and she's dispossessed. Early on, we've seen Siena's defense collapsing, but they've done a nice job responding from the pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. Find that target outlet player, get a hold of the ball, and then get numbers involved. And this is where they're going to get some opportunities if they can get players forward off of that.
Here's Sophia Dimkopoulos, the 3-time all-academic selection in the Metro Atlantic. McNeilis trying to save it, and that goes out of play. So far, both teams a good pace of play in this match, 10 minutes in, and both have had chances inside the 18.
Yeah, absolutely. And Arizona State defensive, they're organized. They'll drop behind the ball. And so Siena can look to counter on some of those opportunities when they find that target. And once Arizona State drops in, they can just keep the ball a bit like they did there, get it wide, and try and get something from that.
Sun Devils have waited 7 long years to get back to the tournament, and what a turnaround after 0 Pac-12 victories last year. Came out with a bang, the 6-0-2 start. It has not been the perfect finish for Graham Winksworth Club, but overcoming some major injuries in the midfield, and they have been revamped at that position.
Yeah, and he talked about that being a strength of their program, and I think that's shown so far. You know, these three center mids find some pockets of space to be able to move the ball and draw some defenders out.
Good service in the middle. Opportunity for the Sun Devils is converted.
Douglas, like we talked about before the game, she's put herself in the right spot. Great one-time finish.
Arizona State jumps in front here in the 11th minute, and Nicole Douglas does what she does best, her 9th goal of the year.
It's a great goal scorer mentality. Just be ready for the ball to come to you. Falls right to her and able to tuck it in the corner.
A 10th minute strike for Douglas, who has been a goal scoring machine, and yet when we ask Graham Winkworth, she's even better off the ball than she is on it, and scoring on a deflection that time.
Absolutely. I mean, you can see she kind of creates that space for herself, even though it's kind of a ball kind of shot on goal, but she pulls that defender away and is able to find that space in between her and the goal.
This is where things get interesting for Siena, a club that allowed just 3 goals all year. How will they be tested now, playing behind a tally early in this first half?
Sometimes for a team like this, that settles them down a little bit as well. That they get scored on, they kind of refocus on what they need to do, and you know, now they got nothing to play for. Just go out and be the team that they can be and push themselves. So it'll be interesting to see how they respond.
Here's Grace George, who does a great job coming up from the back line, setting the attack. And Jayana Mon's the last to touch it, so it's Arizona State ball. Sun Devils finished just 6-11 last year. What a turnaround at 8-5-2. And a team that can be dangerous. They play at their best level, as good as anybody in this league, and maybe in this side of the bracket with wins over UCLA and USC. The other side of the coin, of course, is some disappointing losses to end the year at Utah, at Cal on the road, as it'll be Siena throw.
Yeah, just an absolute tough conference to play in, and so you got to give them credit for that strong start. They got a few non-conference games in, and then they dove right in, and the Pac-12 has been one of the top conferences the past few years, and I think a lot of credit to Graham and his staff for what they've been able to do to get that program competing at that level.
3 of the last 4 NCAA champions out of the Pac-12, and that's hard-pressed to find given North Carolina's dominance in this sport since the mid-1980s for sure. Arizona State with a 10th minute strike from Nicole Douglas, the early lead in this first half. An ASU club searching for its 5th NCAA tournament win all time. It's a good defensive play there by Emily McNeilis. But miscommunication leads to a turnover.
You can absolutely see why Siena's had 5 shutouts on the season. Very good team defensively. Coach talked about them being organized and having to work together, communicate, and it's showing here. One mishap there that led to the goal, but besides that, they've been solid back there.
Siena in their tournament run, a 5-1 goal differential, allowed just 1 goal in a semifinal win over Ryder to reach the conference championship, where they beat Monmouth in penalty kicks. Nothing more stressful as a head coach, especially in a one-bid conference, going down to PKs and winning it 4-2 to clinch that conference title.
That's tough, and it's something we hate to see, but there's got to be a winner decided at the end of the day, and that's how it happens sometimes.
Siena had to shake some demons, losing in the 18 final against Monmouth, but returning 2 years later and getting a critical victory in a conference championship. Such a great moment for Steve Karbowski in his 22nd year. He's been to 7 conference championships, so very familiar in these moments. Now his student athletes get the big experience. Arizona State out of the flashy Pac-12.
There's some good movement by Arizona State to try and draw some of those defenders out. That's something that Coach Winkler said would be key, pulling out some defenders and kind of attacking that space that you were able to create there. So it's good to see.
Liska Carlitter with that service in, trying to open up the defense. Siena has held steady on that back line and now trying to settle this game in. No shots on target for the Saints. They did have 1 opportunity in the box early in this match. Siena team led by 4 goals from Emily McNeilis, keeping out number 4 in the green today.
Good patience there by Siena to move the ball around the back, and right, Arizona State's going to have a good shape defensively and be compact, and getting their outside backs involved will be key for Siena to create things out wide.
This is Sophia Dimkopoulos to throw it in. She's played every minute of every match this year out of Fayetteville, New York. A little bit of contact outside the box, and now a whistle there on Siena for the touch. Looked like that time Serafin just got her hands on it, but there was no foul initially on the contact.
I think she lost her balance there and didn't want the ball to get too far away. Fortunately, not allowed to use that part of your body in this game.
It's a heady play for certain to get her defense back. I do like it from Serafin, who now has possession. Works it ahead of D'Angelo, who chips for target. And an easy scoop that time by Cascapera. Shots from distance for Siena. Is that a strategy that may work for them today?
Most likely not. I think it's going to be tough to beat a goalkeeper of that caliber from there. But I think what it does do is it gives them some confidence. A couple little passes there to create a shooting opportunity. They just have to build off that and know that things are going to happen.
Trying to break down an Arizona State defense that has pitched 5 shutouts, including over Stanford and USC. The Trojans are the 8th seed in this tournament. Had an incredible come-from-behind win in overtime against UCLA. And that win, Graham Winkworth said, really sparked the program because it was in UCLA. It was on the road. And to get a win over the #2 national seed, it was just a dramatic boost of confidence.
Yeah, in the Pac-12, anytime you can go into California and get results is definitely a big thing for your program.
First time in over a decade, 2 wins over both USC and UCLA for the Sun Devil program. There's Alexi Delgado outside the box with some space. Williams trying to turn for goal. Now Williams shoots on target, and there's a scoop for Leslie Adams, who had 15 saves in the MAC Conference tournament. What a prolific effort. She was part of the all-tournament team. She's going to be tested a bunch today.
Probably not the opportunity Coach Winkworth wants to see his players take. I think a tough angle there. One extra pass probably could have created something a little bit more.
Opportunity for a free kick now for Siena, who surrenders the 10th minute goal to Nicole Douglas. Our head referee Patrick Schmidt readjusting the position here on the target.
Very high line here by Arizona State.
This is Deanna Lamino, one of the captains of this squad. And that chip, not very promising there. Easy play for the keeper.
Yeah, interesting to see that high line by Arizona State. It's going to take a diagonal ball to get something out of that. They're really trying to pull the Siena attacking players as far away from goal as possible. It's going to be tough to get on the end of those.
Here's Nicole Douglas, second team all Pac-12, rifling one in the middle. And the Sun Devils keep possession. Winner of this matchup takes on Duke this Saturday. Another high noon matchup as Siena maintains possession. Look at Crone running, wanting that service in. A bit off-timed with her midfielder. Good job by Arizona State to clear it out. That's Siena throw. Siena Saints 27th in the country in scoring, just over 2.5 goals per contest. No player with more than 4. It's a balanced scoring team for Coach Steve Karbowski.
That's great to see when you've got different players that step up and score goals and kind of spread them around. You're not relying on that one player to do everything. That could come in big for him here later today.
Most importantly, 6 victories, 6 different game-winning goal scorers for Siena. Coming off a penalty kick victory just to make it to the NCAA tournament. And so far here in the first 18 minutes, an early goal for Nicole Douglas. Siena has pressed a bit more in this first half and put more of the opportunities forward.
Yeah, I think they're starting to pick and choose their moments, try and find pockets that they can trap Arizona State in and counter off that. So again, very organized. You know, they're doing a great job communicating. You can see players pointing and passing things on.
Here's a deep service to Di Williams. Grace George has been shielding her off all afternoon and concedes a corner.
Williams is a tough player to deal with, nice and strong, and just couldn't hold her off there long enough to get the goal kick.
Ty Williams had 6 goals in her last full season in 2019. Love to get her offense going here as here comes Arizona State on the delivery. Here's the deep service, looking for Williams, missed her. And Siena quickly to clear. That does keep it on this side of the field. Has a great defensive dispossession. That was Brianne Montanard, the all-conference defender for Siena.
Just runs through the tackle. That's what you want to see. Don't back out. She runs through it, gets clipped there at the end, and relieves pressure from her team.
Montanard, the defensive player of the year in the conference, as that kick is way out of play. That is the one thing we've noticed here as of late, the last 10 minutes. Siena having trouble maintaining possession, and the pressure is shifted back with Arizona State now controlling the ball.
Yeah, and you got to wonder about the heat. How is it up there? What they've been training in? Because I was outside yesterday for quite a bit with all these train sessions, and it is warm and it wears on you pretty quickly if you're not used to it. And even down here, it hasn't been that
low
warm.
80s right now. Luckily, the breeze has kicked in, which is certainly delightful. A little bit of a break for these student athletes working hard today. Williams stays onside, now kicks it middle. And a smart play there by Leslie Adams, who not only is 5th in save percentage, she's been tested top 10 in the amount of saves she must make per match. This Siena team was outshot 20-2 in the MAC tournament final, but yet found a way to keep it scoreless and ultimately won in penalty kicks.
Wow.
With 2 big saves from Adams in that PK round. This is Jessica Hale for Arizona State coming up from a defensive position. Now for the ASU throw. First tournament in 7 years for the Sun Devils. This was a lemonade season for Coach Winkworth. When life throws them lemons, they're going to try to drink every ounce out of it and enjoy it. But this team is dangerous enough. I think it's more than just one game opportunity. The Sun Devils have a chance to work deep in this tournament. Yeah, absolutely. There's some of these teams that are kind of hitting their stride at the right time. That's what it's all about. And, having success going into this first round. If you get a win and you're able to make it through, you've got that confidence. And, the team you're playing hasn't played a game in a week or two. And so could lead to some good games in that second round. Olivia Nguyen just a bit offside on that one. And I love the captain defensively, Demkopoulos, quickly to remind the side judge. Something that we teach our players, right? Make sure, give them a little bit of help if they need it. The assistant referees all over it here in this first half. An early 10th minute strike for Nicole Douglas. That's the difference on the scoreboard. Siena, a 3rd ever NCAA tournament appearance. And this is where Siena can have some success here, is when they're a little bit patient on the ball and they look to attack out wide. They've been able to get in behind that back line, create some deep throws, and so they've just got to look to keep attacking that space as much as they can. There's Mons backing down Johnson, the ASU defender. Ooh, and that was last touch by Grace George, Arizona State throw. The Sun Devils in non-conference play look like the heavy hitters in the country. 4 wins, 4 dominant victories. A tough stretch in the month of April, but injuries had hampered ASU to a bit. They have been rested and fully healthy with their last game all the way back on April 16th, so plenty of time to gear up for this first round matchup. Yeah, and I think every coach will look at that differently, whether they go 2 weeks without playing a game and they think they'll have a little bit of rust to shake off. But I think Coach Winkworth looked at it as this a time for his team to get a little bit healthier and get a rest and get prepared for this tournament. That time, Ashley Seraphin was offside on the initial pass. Took a while for the head referee to notice it, but he did make the call. It's a nice play by Demkopoulos, who has been tested heavily on this right side. Yeah, absolutely. Smart defender. We've seen a couple plays she's made that's really helped her team kind of just leave that pressure from that they're seeing, and now they're going the other way. So good decision by her to not play that ball when she didn't need to. This back four for Siena, the amount of juniors and seniors mixed in, they were all together 4 years ago in this initial class, and it has all come together with a tournament title. That's what makes this sport so neat. You think about the year off with COVID, over 500 days to come back onto the field, and a program like both ASU and Siena that had very difficult 2019 seasons have responded with very promising years.
Yeah, just speaking to different coaches, they've talked about, they took time to work on the athleticism piece. They worked on the culture piece. So many things that you're not necessarily going to do as much in season because you're so focused on the games. And so having this fall off kind of paid off for some programs that, again, look at both these teams were not picked to do very well in their conference, and here they are in the NCAA tournament.
In fact, for Siena as well, they had their first 2 games postponed to begin the year. So the wait was even 2 weeks longer, and Coach Karbowski for Siena so happy for his players to get back on the field. Not even the results, just the sheer excitement. As here's a corner kick drawn, the first of the day for Siena.
Yeah, I think this year's been so challenging. So this is such a great thing that is able to happen. Still have the NCAA tournament with all the uncertainties that have taken place. I think there's coaches around the country that are happy to get games in for their seniors that are leaving. And, for these programs that have pushed through and continued on, it's just, a testament of all the hard work they've put in.
Here's Deanna Lamino, who has a team-high 5 assists, serving in this corner kick. Our lead referee breaking up a quick discussion in the box as Rachel Sullivan tries to fight for space. Here's Lamino on the service. Dangerous ball. Headed just high by McNeilis.
Yeah, they said she would be a target, and she has tacked the ball well there and just couldn't get quite high enough to knock that ball down. But that's an opportunity that they're going to look back at and hope they get more of.
McNeilis was in position, got past Jasmine Wilkinson, the ASU backline defender. Part of that, of course, you get your head on it, but it's about the angle and positioning that can really put it in a dangerous opportunity.
Absolutely. Wilkinson got just enough on her to throw her off balance, so she couldn't get quite clean header to get it on frame.
Set pieces have been a huge part of Siena's scoring success this year. Remember, 2.5 goals a game. So a 1-0 deficit as we crunch under the first 20 minutes of this half is nothing to be concerned for. This ball dangerous as there comes Adams sliding up to make a nice stop. And that was one thing that Steve Karbowski told us. You can simulate speed, you can watch it on tape, but when you see Arizona State in person, it's a whole different challenge of trying to slow down this front line.
Yeah, Jones subbed in there and almost had an immediate impact on the game with a great through ball there, just a hair too long.
Olive Jones, the senior from Phoenix, homegrown product. A lot of contact with both Hale and Crone that time. And now Siena gets it right back. Demkopoulos, excellent ball in. Mons is offside. And maybe the best look for Siena today.
Great ball, great back shoulder run. Just didn't quite time it. Maybe one step ahead. We'll have to see that one.
Third offside for Siena. They've been aggressive on those long balls. Arizona State, the 10th minute goal early in this match from Nicole Douglas. That's been the difference. Jessica Carlier serves it long.
Nothing too dangerous since that first goal, but starting to see it open up just a little bit. Siena with a longer ball to try and get in behind there, and then Arizona State answers with the same. So starting to open up a little bit, and interesting to see as both teams make some subs here, what it'll look like here to finish this last 17.5 minutes.
Arizona State brings in Talia Herman-Watt out of New Zealand, the freshman defender. Now Siena back deep defensively, gives it away. An easy play to the keeper in the box, and Leslie Adams, who for the last 2 years has been on the bench watching Taylor Dorado, the 2-time all-conference keeper. She has held firm after conceding that first goal in the 10th minute.
It's always a great story to see when someone can step in and fill the shoes of a good player. All right, she worked hard for 2 years, and when her number was called, she's obviously done well and had a great year.
And stepped up big time. 12 saves in the MAC tournament final against Monmouth to force the penalty kicks. Her club then held on for a 4-2 win to advance here to the NCAAs. Because nothing beats that selection Monday of sitting down with your team, enjoying this moment. Arizona State, one of 19 at-large teams. There was some optimism this program would make it into the tournament, but nothing for certain. And then Siena, just the ecstasy of getting to this game and competing at the highest level.
Yeah, even when you know you're in, I've been on both ends of that. You know you're in, it's still exciting to see who you're going to get to play, and having that team in that room and watching that show is a pretty exciting thing as a player and a coach.
The winner of this matchup takes on number 9 Duke out of the ACC. That'll be on Saturday at noon. Arizona State with a promising chance. Vanderson plays it back. Laska Carlier and Vildan Kardessler, who is not part of the lineup today, but those two out of the Netherlands have been such a huge duo for Arizona State. Both playing for their national teams, even during their collegiate careers. It's a nice touch of international flavor for Arizona State.
Yeah, and Coach Winkler talked about Carlier and her abilities on the ball. And even though she's a center back and is in a good defensive position, her abilities with the ball really help them create things.
Van Derser serves it forward. Now back to a goal scorer, and Delgado turns for target and deflected. Siena committing so many bodies back defensively.
Yeah. Great little combination play by Arizona State, but when you've got those numbers defensively there, shots from that distance aren't going to get through to the goal.
There's Ashley Serafin drawing the foul. This is her 47th career game. Just a touch of contact there from Jasmine Wilkinson, part of the all Pac-12 freshman team. Arizona State with 13 underclassmen, and many of those are in part of the main lineup for Coach Winkler. So a lot of optimism moving forward. Here's a promising play by Grace George down the far side. The chip is off the post and stays in play.
Yeah, Siena attacked the flank there again and led to a handball. He took a quick restart and almost got on the board there.
The momentum of this half is turning as here's a giveaway. Long ball ahead by Van Dersen. Wants her goal scorer in Sullivan, and the keeper comes out to make the play, Leslie Adams.
Good decision. She committed to it and never slowed down. But yeah, tough angle. Goalkeeper's playing across and almost sneaks that ball into that near post.
That's a difficult decision for Cascapera because you don't want to concede a corner.
Absolutely.
And then all of a sudden it comes back in play.
And just even getting there to be able to contest it, she's playing more of a positioning for a cross, and that ball almost sneaks there to that near post.
Keep an eye on Grace Green, number 7 in the green. Dangerous player serving in those long balls. Now Corey Sullivan off the bench, goes for goal again. Arizona State does pride themselves on not being a team that takes 20, 25 shots a game. They want quality chances in the box.
Yeah, and I think exactly right here is what they're looking for. They want to attack the outside backs, and as this half carries on, I think there's more space in there. They've been able to bring some fresh bodies on. Looks like Siena is going to match them with some subs here coming in soon to get some fresh legs.
Arizona State flew in Monday night, had a day to practice. Or pardon me, Tuesday night, had a day of practice on Wednesday here for this first round. One of the benefits that Graham Winkworth was telling us coming in, his team does practice at 9 a.m. in the morning, so they are used to these early start times.
Absolutely, and I had asked him that, and he said he doesn't think it'd be a big deal, even though, he mentioned a game is just so much different. How you mentally prepare leading up to that is much different than just waking up and getting some breakfast and going out to training, but they've done a good job adjusting.
That 2-hour mountain time difference, maybe not as huge of a factor with that 10th minute goal by Nicole Douglas. I see the idea there on that service by Darby D'Angelo, but a costly turnover for Siena.
Siena's doing a much better job here towards the end of the half of just clogging up some of those passing lanes in the midfield, kind of forcing Arizona State to go to a bigger ball.
Now a second chance in the box. Olive Jones feeds it inside, and the nice clearance out by Rachel Sullivan. Siena committing so many bodies back defensively. You see that one striker forward, but 10 others back deep trying to defend. That is onside for Arizona State. Herman Watt turns, finds Stewart. Kiki fires it in. Now a long run, trying to keep this in play. Julia Kissane, and she's not able to do so.
And I think Siena will be content with that because it allows them to bring 4 fresh bodies on the field. There's a little stretch there. They just looked gassed up there. So this will be good for them to get some fresh bodies out there.
Darby D'Angelo going to the bench. And Melina Ortiz, number 15 in the green out of Waverly, New York, checks in. Tested immediately on this turn into the box. Shot deflected. Siena's defense has held firm here in this first half despite allowing the first goal. McNeilis plays it forward. Arizona State threatening again. Long ball into the corner, trying to target. A great job keeping that ball in play. Headed out by Siena. Nicole Soto with a service in. Second chance in the box is tipped and saved by Adams.
Once again, just so many bodies in there for Siena. Makes it difficult for Arizona State to get anything clean off. So great defending there. Blocking shots, getting in front of the ball, bodying up on players' back post. That's what you like to see.
To your point, Kiki Stewart was right there trying to get her hand in the cookie jar and make it 2-0 quickly. Carrie Crone, good play into the outside the 18, defended perfectly. And here's the speed. Alexia Delgado, who competes for the Mexican national team. A player who brings a pro-like approach to practice, according to Graham Winkworth, her head coach.
Yeah, interesting. All 3 starting central midfielders have had experience with youth or full national teams with their respective countries. So brings a lot of experience in there being in those environments.
Great dispossession there from Siena, playing it forward. How can the Saints get a quality shot on target? Annie Bagnell trying to be the target of that pass, and it's a bit long. Officially, no shots on target for Siena, but a dangerous service from Grace George about 10 minutes prior. And that is part of the course for Siena. They got outshot 20-2 in a conference tournament final against Monmouth, but played great defense and forced penalty kicks to win 4-2.
And I think that'll have a big impact on them mentally, as they were just in this a week ago. So to be in a game where the other team is going to have the ball more and create more chances is not the end of the world. So I think that'll help them, get through this last few minutes here of half and regroup at halftime.
Bodies flying everywhere for this ball with 8 minutes left in the first half, and the foul is on Arizona State, setting up a critical chance here outside the box.
Yeah, good work up there just to battle for the ball and compete and eventually get dragged down. Good opportunity here.
That foul's on the Arizona State sub, number 16, Nicole Soto, the junior out of Tempe, Arizona, right in her hometown. Sun Devils' first tournament appearance in 7 years. Part of a Pac-12 conference that has won 3 of the last 4 NCAA titles. This club is good as any with wins over UCLA and USC this year. Here's Siena on the service. What can Lamino draw up? She goes short. Cascapera is all over it.
That crucial near post run to just get across the face of the goalkeeper just wasn't quite there. Not a bad ball. Just need to get those runs in just a hair earlier.
Lamino, first team all-conference in the Metro Atlantic. Part of a litany of all-conference selections for Siena. Arizona State had 3 between second team all-conference players, headlined by Nicole Douglas on the second team. And as any coach would tell you, this is what you come to expect in the first round of an NCAA tournament. There are no flukes when you get to this level.
Not at all. 6-3 in shots, pretty tight. Some good battles out there. Players out there competing. They want it.
Here's Melina Ortiz on a long run and forces a corner. The freshman of New York, critical minutes here off the bench.
Yeah, you see a little bit of energy coming from Siena. They got those fresh bodies in there, and it's definitely changed. Earning the free kick, now the corner, playing down in this half of the field for a little bit.
Deanna Lamino, the set-piece specialist, has played every minute this year. Led the MAC in assists, including 3 in her debut. How about a time to draw one up here in the NCAA tournament? Opportunity headed the way by Arizona State. Possession here for Juliana Cassane, who plays it back to her defense. Great dispossession defensively. I tell you, Soto off the bench has played some critical minutes. She was not a huge contributor in Pac-12 play. Number 16 for Arizona State, providing a nice touch. Brown plays it back. And the long pass by Lamino results in a goal kick. Substitution here for Siena in the final 5 minutes of this first half. Arizona State with a 10th minute strike, where the Sun Devils have been excellent when scoring first.
In these tight games, the depth of your bench is crucial. Getting your starters a little bit longer of a break than they typically might, and it's going to allow, especially Siena, to come out with a little bit fresher legs in that second half, getting as many subs in as they have.
Gabby DeAngelis, the freshman out of Bedford, New Hampshire, checks in for Siena. She played 45 minutes in the conference final. Very familiar with checking in these moments. Great set of passes, but that last one a bit long. Now played ahead by Montenard, who is forced to shovel it out. Soto's reminded to take a couple of steps back on that throw, and that's my favorite part about the game. You have to try every inch until the head referee gets you. And I think that's just for punishment, pushing back Nicole Soto a couple of steps on that throw-in. So here's Soto down line, and Arizona State gives it right away. Soto's pass is deflected. That's off Lamino. And possession changing hands here heavily in the final 3 minutes of this first half. Winner of this game takes on Duke in the second round of the tournament on Saturday. Promising put down results in a shot that is just wide.
Hit well, quick little release, just not on frame.
Olive Jones with this shot on target.
Through some traffic, tough for the goalkeeper to see, but looks like she had it covered there.
She's played in 63 career games. Very experienced, the senior out of Phoenix. This is her first appearance since the end of March, so a critical time for Jones. Arizona State is winning every ball in the middle of the field right now, making life tough for Siena. Up ahead to Van Dersen. Plays it forward to Soto. Cassane trying to force her inside, and there it is, the help defensively by Lamino. Arizona State has upped the chances here late in this first half. Can they add on to an opening strike by Nicole Douglas with her 9th goal of the season? Siena has surrendered 7 shots and have held firm with 4 shots on target.
Arizona State's flipped the table here these last couple minutes and haven't created too much that's dangerous, but played down here a little bit, which I'm sure they'd like to finish this half off strong. But Siena off the counter.
And when wanting a foul that time was Annie Bagnall. She was trying to get past Lieska Carlier.
Looked like there was a little pull on her, but just not enough for the referee to make the call on that.
Sinead Carroll, number 11 in the greens, gotten some minutes late in this first half. She could be critical in the midfield as well. Here's a service in. Chance for Delgado, who fires and forcing the hands of the all-conference keeper.
Very similar to that last opportunity we saw, and she made the adjustment and was able to get that on frame. Took a little deflection. Very difficult for a goalkeeper to deal with that. Good save there in the end.
Arizona State, a goal-scoring team, 4th in the Pac-12. Here's a service in. Back header is a bit long. That time Carlier, using her 6-foot size, just couldn't put it on target. Final 20 seconds of this first half. The Siena Saints, the conference champions out of the Metro Atlantic, allowed just 3 goals all season. Yet Arizona State, with a 10th minute strike, have the early lead in the closing seconds of this first half.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
And that will send us to halftime here in Greenville, North Carolina at Johnson Stadium. It's the Arizona State Sun Devils. A 1-0 lead in the first 45 minutes. When we come back, more from our halftime report. ASU, the 1-0 strike from Douglas.
Nissan, Pizza Hut, Reese's, Uri's, Unilever, and Wendy's. Their support enhances NCAA championships in the educational and athletic experiences of nearly 500,000 NCAA student athletes. As a reminder, masks are required at all times inside Johnson Stadium.
Welcome back here to Johnson Stadium in Greenville, North Carolina. Perfect day, and so far for Arizona State, a nice start, a 1-0 lead at the break, as Nicole Douglas with the 10-minute goal to be all the difference. So far in this first half, Coach, both teams with chances in terms of overall stats, but how about Arizona State? 5 shots on target, putting the pressure on the Saints.
Absolutely. I think, fairly even match there. I think Arizona State had a couple opportunities early and then a couple opportunities late, but that bulk of that first half was pretty even. So, right there at the end, big save by Adams to close out the half. But, yeah, I think Arizona State's, would be happy with where they're at as far as their attacking abilities, which we knew was going to be a strong suit of them.
We will have more highlights and plenty of breakdown from this first half when we return, as Arizona State leads by 1 at the break.
Educational and athletic experiences of nearly 500,000 NCAA student athletes. NCAA Championship celebrates the Student Athlete Advisory Committee's United as One campaign. Student athletes represented from Division 1 to and National Unity Pledge centered on bringing people together to better relation, unify, and beyond. This initiative captures the student athlete perspective on the challenges the country continues to face and provides a platform for NCAA student athletes to talk about diversity, inclusion, and social justice. On their campuses and outside. NCAA encourages student athletes, coaches, and administrators to use this campaign to United as One. Visit ncaa.org/United as One to learn more.
Welcome back to Greenville, North Carolina, here with the coach, Jason Hamilton. Evan Budrovich at halftime. It's Arizona State, a 1-0 lead in the first round of the NCAA championships. And Let's dive right into the highlights, because early on in this match, it was Arizona State with critical chances and able to convert early in this game.
Yeah, I think they stuck to their game plan, looked to get balls wide and try and create things, be patient in front of the box. And that's what we see on this goal. A couple extra passes and right, top of the box, top of the 6, easy little tap in.
That's Nicole Douglas with her 9th goal of the season to put ASU in front. They had 5 shots on target. And then Siena with 2 corners, maybe their best chance right here.
Yeah, I think both services were super dangerous, and they've got to take advantage of that in the second half if they can get more corners.
Possession nearly 60% for ASU inside the defensive end for Siena. They held tight as it's a 1-0 difference here at the break. We'll get you all set for the second half when we return here from Greenville, North Carolina. Arizona State with a 1-0 lead here at halftime as the winner of this matchup heads on to take Duke this Saturday in the second round of the NCAA tournament. The unbeaten Siena Saints trailing by a goal at the break as Arizona State jumped in front early. A 10th minute goal from Nicole Douglas. And Jason, we knew Douglas could be quite a scorer, 8 goals on the year, but takes advantage of a second chance to put ASU in front.
Yeah, shows why she's had success so far this season. A good goal scorer mentality is to put yourself in the right place and just be ready for anything. And so it comes kind of a half shot deflection, and she's there, pounces on it, and without any hesitation puts it in the back of the goal.
Just the 4th goal that Siena has conceded all season long. Not an easy thing to do. And that was early in the match. 10 minutes in, Arizona State with a quick strike. They had 5 shots on target. Put a lot of pressure on this defense for Siena, but how about the response from what Siena was able to do? You see Douglas with that quick shot on a goal. She's been busy this year. And then Jason Siena's goalkeeper, Leslie Adams, was tested, and she did a nice job of bouncing back defensively.
Yeah, absolutely. To give up such few goals throughout the season and give one earlier, then you got to bounce back. It's a good sign of a good goalkeeper is make the saves you're supposed to make a couple big saves to keep your team in the game. I thought positioning's been excellent for her. Great defensive group in front of her to make things difficult for the Sun Devils to get clean looks. But when they do, she has been there and helped keep that out of the back of the goal.
She ranks 19th in the country in goals against average and has been busy between the pipes here in the first 45 minutes. Arizona State's been blitzing shots at her in this matchup. 5 shots on target, like that one right there. And Adams, the junior goalkeeper, is up for the challenge. I mean, already 4 saves and plenty of other opportunities in her face. And she mentioned it best coming into the week. I know I'm going to be tested and be busy at the net. I have to be ready for it. How does Siena, who has been defensive-minded for much of this first half, try to shift the course of this match and sneak a goal across the tie?
Yeah, I think they've got to look at where they had some success, and that was when they attacked the flank. So whether they pulled their wide forwards wide, or even more when they got their outside backs involved, if they can attack that space, it looks like Arizona State's kind of having a nice compact shape defensively and giving that to them, and then what leads to that? So they've gotten some deep throw-ins, they've gotten some corners, some set pieces out there, then take advantage of those. So I think they just have to look at where that success came from and attack that space out wide.
Arizona State has put a stamp on this program over the last 3 years with Graham Winkworth, and now in year 4 as a head coach. His first tournament appearance here at ASU, and a club that started off this season much like his tenure. Very hot early on, a 6-0-2 start. They have played like a team that can be dangerous in this tournament, especially if Douglas gets going from a goal-scoring standpoint.
Yeah, I think we're going to see them come out with a lot of energy. I think he's probably told them at the halftime is get another goal. All right, let's put some distance between us. See if we can kind of take their energy level down by getting another goal. So I think we'll see them come out kind of flying and putting Siena under a little bit of pressure, trying to get that second goal to see if they can keep their foot on the gas and open things up there.
An Arizona State team who flew all the way across the country taking on a Siena club. Its 3rd ever NCAA tournament appearance, each 5 years apart, 2010, 2015, and now here in around 2020 to 21. But you get the point. This club has had success bookend by a senior-heavy class in those runs. 4 seniors and 10 juniors for this group that finished just 4-11 2 years ago, picked 8th in the MAC coming into the year, much like Arizona State, a team that was picked at the bottom of the Pac-12. And that's what makes this matchup so fascinating. 2 teams that have vastly over-exceeded expectations.
Yeah, and that experience from Siena will be big. They know there's 45 minutes left, which potentially could be the end of their season, and they're going to come out here and fight. I think they've done a really good job. They've been a scrappy group. They've defended well as a team, but they know that they're in this game, and that's what the tournament's all about: is fighting as hard as you can and leaving it all on the field.
First matchup between these two. You don't typically see a Pac-12 team and a Metro Atlantic team playing each other early in the tournament. Part of the neat factor of the regional tournament all being in North Carolina. Different sites and matchups in this, but we're happy you chose to tune in with us, along with Jason Hamilton, the head coach at ECU. I'm Evan Budrovich here, and coming up later today, we'll have Memphis and Utah Valley at 4 o'clock, Stony Brook and Ohio State at 8. Plenty of soccer, and already in this tournament with some big wins for the likes of Washington out of the Pac-12. We saw Rutgers pull out a close win last night. Some of the heavy hitters have moved on, but even the underdogs, always an opportunity to spoil an upset this week.
Yeah, I think being at these neutral sites makes it a little bit different. You don't have that home field advantage that typically the higher seeded teams do. And, they're on the road. They're in a hotel just like the team that's visiting. So I think some of these games have been very tight across the board. And it's been exciting to see what teams, maybe the underdogs, do slip through into the second round. It
is neat, of course. Florida State, the top team in the country. They play their first matchup at Wake Med Field in Cary, a little farther away from Tallahassee, where the Seminoles dominated 11-0 this year in Atlantic Coast Conference play. Right now we have Arizona State, who finished 4th in the Pac-12, and Siena, the champions of the Metro Atlantic, both regular season and postseason. Patrick Schmidt, our lead referee, gives us the clearance. And we begin the second half. ASU with the 10th minute goal from Nicole Douglas. That's been the difference. Although it was interesting, Jason, we saw once the first goal was scored, Siena was a little more offensive minded and had some quality chances.
Yeah, I thought they bounced back well. I thought they didn't let that goal get to them. Brought a little bit of energy, had some good counterattacks, and really picked up the pace a little bit.
Here's Wilkinson driving in, leaving a ball off in the box. That's taken away by Darby D'Angelo, who clears it long. Siena is very patient on the defensive end. They've allowed just 4 goals all year, 8th in goals allowed in the country, only trailing Central Connecticut, who also qualified for this tournament. Arizona State searching for a second goal early. Dish in, deflected. Second chance is saved. That's Adams on the stop. Arizona State a 6-0 advantage in shots on target. They've put quality chances in front of Adams. And a foul called there on Arizona State's Alexia Delgado. Olivia Wen with her 3rd shot of the match, the junior out of Tempe from Corona del Sol High School. Now Siena with a critical chance, as an ASU player wanted to foul that time in Carlier. Mons lays it off. And a great dispossession. That's Van Dersen knocking it away.
It doesn't look like either team came out with any significant changes as far as the style or the system that they're in. So they both felt comfortable with where they're at the end of the first half.
We will see Annie Bagnall more at the top of this attacking front for Siena, trying to force McNeilis to play back more as a central midfielder. You do wonder if Siena can get something going in the counterattack. That's where they've had success, especially with turnovers at the midfield. The Siena Saints, who outscored opponents 18-3 during the regular season. And I don't care what conference you're in, that is tough to do. Goals conceded in just 3 matches on the year, including a penalty kick victory against Monmouth to clinch the tournament title. Mons trying to take advantage of this soft touch. That's played nicely ahead. And Lucy Johnson centers it. Here's a spin by Nicole Douglas, who's dispossessed. That's Lamino. Now Mons sprinting down the inner flank. Mons plays across, and it's ricocheted out. McNeilis the slide. That was actually Sullivan on the turf. Laying it off to Mons, who has a shot on target, deflected.
Great look there. Just couldn't quite get that first touch out from underneath her feet.
That's Callie Darst saving the day on the front line.
Good fight by Siena to come out here in the second half and show that they belong in this game.
Grace George trying to apply pressure. Good seal out from Arizona State's Ava Van Dersen. One of 2 Dutch national players for Arizona State. 8 countries represented, all the way as far as Japan to the Netherlands, you name it. Plenty of talent here for Graham Winkworth. That was offense, a critical chance in the box with Wen's pass deflected. That box defense that Siena has employed has opened up a bit. Same for Arizona State, leading some chances for Siena in this second half.
Yeah, good look, good ball through there. Just that takes that touch just a little bit inside and unable to get that shot off without the defender getting back to recover. But good look there for Siena.
Siena's senior class had a long conversation after 2019. The club went just 4-11, and they refocused, retooled, met as a group, and have sparked this turnaround at 6-0-2 on the year. 2 draws against Monmouth and a critical win in the conference title. Here's Mons with a steal. She gives it right back to Wilkinson. Julia Cascapera, the keeper for Arizona State, has not been tested a lot in this matchup, but she will be critical to ASU's defense.
Yeah, there's times where you don't get a lot of action back there and games kind of slows down for you, and then all of a sudden you got to be ready to go.
Here's Di Williams with space. That's a long shot on target and an easy play for Adams. Arizona State applying some pressure. Let's see if Siena can string a couple of passes together and get a chance on target. McNeilis swings it around. Now Sullivan just missed her target, and Grace George. I do like how Siena's trying to flip the field horizontally in this half.
Absolutely. Arizona State stays nice and compact defensively and works together. And if they're able to switch that point of attack, there's space there, just missing that final pass.
This is Lucy Johnson on the throw, the left footer who's a nice defensive piece for Arizona State. Graham Winkworth was happy to see her back in the lineup here come tournament time. She runs up the near side as Di Williams tries to feed it that way. Williams goes outside to Wen, who finds a shooter in Douglas, and the shot's deflected for a corner.
Again, great run by Douglas to get in on that back shoulder of the defender. Nice little one-touch pass to slip her in. Good recovery by the defender, but shows that how dangerous she can be with just a quick little run there to slip in behind.
Douglas with a goal in the 10th minute, almost had a second right there. And sets up the corner kick here for Lucy Johnson. She has Delgado right next to her just in case. Now Johnson serves it in. Off the hands of the keeper, and Adams recovers.
Yeah, good play to stay with it. Showed a little bit of pressure on her. Kind of threw her off a little bit, but kind of find that second ball. It's well done.
Always dangerous when it slips through a goalkeeper's fingertips. Leslie Adams, the goalkeeper of the year in the Metro Atlantic. Here's a long ball for Mons. And there's Cascapera all over it.
Yeah, a little different look there from Siena, a little bit more direct from the goalkeeper, and able to have that ball bounce a couple times in behind the Arizona State back line.
Good defensive play by Dimkopoulos. Now Sophia swings it wide to D'Angelo, who finds a runner in Grace George. Mons' one touch is quickly knifed out by Arizona State.
It's the third or fourth time we've seen a Siena outside back get involved, and just the shape that Arizona State is playing, it pulls a central midfielder out to have to come step to that ball, and it's allowed them to have a little bit of success and, again, win a throw deep in the Arizona State defensive third.
Gianna Mons, the senior attacker, loses at that time. Now can ASU counter at that 10th minute goal? And the speed of Olivia Wen has caused trouble. Good job by Siena defensively. Annie Bagnall is tripled. Good step through by Delgado to take it away. Up to Douglas. She's got 5 defenders in her face. What can the all-conference Pac-12 striker do? And nearly drew a corner kick. Actually, she does.
Yeah,
it is a corner for Arizona State.
Great 1v1 mentality. She got that ball and had no hesitation to run at that defender and able to win a corner.
Nicole Douglas, who scored a critical game winner against number 8 USC. Part of a nice slate of early Pac-12 wins for Arizona State. Qualifying as one of the 19 at-large teams. We have the pleasure of watching a couple of those teams today. Memphis out of the at-large will play at 4 o'clock here. And Ohio State out of the Big Ten, also an at-large participant. Johnson, the high ball in. Second chance in the box for Van Durser. Here's a Wen sliding in, and she stayed onside but missed target. Olivia Wen's a crafty little player.
Yeah, good little clipped ball in here, and she gets on the end of it, puts the effort in, and lunges for it. Just a step or two away from her. But yeah, she's been great footwork, able to kind of create things on the dribble. Gets out wide in that position, finds herself 1v1, and has been pretty creative out there. I'm impressed with her.
40 career matches for Olivia Wen, who has 4 goals in non-conference play, trying to add to her tally here in the NCAA tournament. Siena yet to fire a shot on target, but they've had more critical chances in this second half. Demkopoulos trying to dribble through, and that's dispossessed. Arizona State trying to peel open that onion and not tear away a 1-0 lead. The Siena defense has surrendered just 4 goals all year, and Adams, another reason why.
Absolutely. Good off her line. No hesitation again, and able to smother that ball with ease.
I usually wear goggles when I peel open onions. I just want to avoid the misclarification there. Because I tell you, trying to get through this Siena defense, it is organized with 5 back in the back line. It's difficult, and they've made a challenge here for Arizona State.
Yeah, again, you see why they've had as much success as they had defensively this season. They very organized, good communicators, and then obviously to have a strong goalkeeper behind you to clean up anything that does get through.
Arizona State switching the field of play here with a 1-0 lead. Sun Devils lost their final 3 matchups heading in to the NCAA tournament.
Good pressure here.
That makes life tough for Callie Darst, who feeds it back to her keeper. Credit Annie Bagnall, the freshman attacker out of Pennsylvania, making life difficult. Who now Williams gets some space outside the 18. Has an option to her left. That's Johnson. Lucy service in, head of the way. And a throw in for the Sun Devils.
I'll tell you what, just when you think you've broken that defense down, there's players coming, recovering out of nowhere to come help clear balls. So great job again by Siena.
Even 24, Gianna Mons, one of the attacking midfielders, is back defensively, trying to preserve this 1-0 deficit. Here's Alexia Delgado. Great service in. And Adams reaches up to the stars for that one. Part of a trio of quality crosses for Arizona State in the second half. They have really tested Adams in the post.
And I think Arizona State saw a little bit of success wide there towards the end of that half, and so it looks like they've come out and really tried to find that space there in the corner, and Adams done a great job dealing with these services in the box.
Working through Nicole Douglas. They call her Dougie, and she gave her team a dance worth celebrating in the first half with a 10th-minute goal. Graham Winkworth and Douglas both have strong British accents out of England, and they love the conversation back and forth. It's something that Graham enjoys, coming into the office to pick his star striker and have a fun conversation. I imagine this year, especially with the amount of Zooms and socially distant meetings, just be able to have any interaction as a coach is so critical to keep these players engaged.
It was, and really once we were able to get them back on campus and in meetings and things like that, it was much different than that last spring where we really kind of sent everybody home. And I think it was, for everybody's sake, it was great to just be back in person together.
These teams able to flush out of the system, losing records in 2019, and both were picked at the bottom of both the Metro Atlantic and the Pac-12 entering the year. Carrie Crone slow to get up, so it's Arizona State possession. Delgado trying to create. Has her goal scorer in Douglas, whose header is just wide.
Again, great job to get end line, create an opportunity. Little cutback ball there, and just missed that. But you see Williams again with her movement, pull herself away from the defender, creates that passing lane, and just a little bit too much pace on it for her to direct it towards the goal.
Siena with a late substitute as well here. Shanae Carroll checks in. Both teams have gone 5 to 6 players deep in their benches, and with 30 minutes to play, Siena has an opportunity, but they have got to find a way to slow down this Arizona State attack.
Yeah, Wynn's been really strong here this second half, creating things on that right flank, and they got to find a way to deal with her because she's been pretty dangerous here the last few minutes.
Sun Devils searching for their first NCAA tournament win since 2014. Went 1-1 in that tournament. Siena in the third conference and now NCAA tournament appearance. Yet to pick up a win, but showing some strength in this half. As that pass is deflected. Second chance, no. Still on the box for Wilkinson, who whiffs. Now the Sun Devils settle. Van Dersen. Another chance for ASU. Trying to add on with Jessica Hale sending it wide. Here's Douglas. Douglas hesitates and draws a corner.
Seeing a little bit more movement out of Arizona State. Douglas pulling wide, Wynn tucking inside, pushing numbers forward. So, again, taking advantage of Siena defending with so many numbers and really trying to force it themselves, pushing as many players forward as they are.
So here's Alexia Delgado in to take the corner. Now the defensive adjustment. You see Sinead right there, and just in case of the quick touch from Johnson. Back to Johnson. Right outside the box, turns for goal. Shot is in! A 2-0 lead for Arizona State.
Extremely well executed play. They served in the box on the first 4 or 5 corners there, and they made the adjustment with Siena only sending out 1 defender and decided to go short, and Johnson with a great play, just take that space, and I think that's why they have the left-footed player on the ball there. Great finish. Pretty unsavable ball there. Siena defender almost able to make a play on it, but great shot by Lucy Johnson.
Lucy Johnson stepping up for her club as a freshman, needing a critical goal in this second half. How about this finish right outside the box? I tell you, Annie Bagnall must have wished she was 5'10" and not 5'7" on that one.
Nice and composed, just picked her head up and put it in the corner.
So Arizona State adding on to its lead. Now the pressure is on the Siena Saints, who surrendered just 3 goals all season and are climbing an uphill battle here after allowing a 62nd minute goal.
And Arizona State was knocking on the door there. They had a few good looks on services and creating things there in the final third, and that one just Siena able to hold that off there. That stream of wave of opportunities that Arizona State finally paid off there.
That was the first career goal for Lucy Johnson, and it could not have come at a better time. Arizona State now pressing with numbers. Delgado to Douglas, trying to find her again, and the give and go's intercepted. How can Siena take advantage of open space? McNeilis up ahead. Here's the speedster, Caitlin Winia. And a great slide tackle by Johnson, who's all over the field.
Not too many opportunities that outside backs get to score a goal. So, this is what she's used to doing day in and day out, is making tackles and being a defender. So good to see her working on both sides of the ball.
Caitlin Wanya was dispossessed, and now Arizona State checks a box for the moment. Lamino plays it in. Every chance Siena's had has been difficult, and ASU has quickly sniffed it out. Here's a chance. McNeilis, the one touch. Now a service inside the 18 and a great shield defensively by Jessica Hale. D'Angelo able to keep it in play. Now pokes into the box. McNeilis fires. That's deflected. Johnson able to head it out. Oh, here's the speed of Alexia Delgado. Numbers to both sides.
Good
Plays it ahead to the dangerous Douglas. Lost it for just a second, and that gave Siena enough time defensively to recover.
Good little ball in there by Delgado. Saw Williams drifting away, kind of create that space in behind, take that defender away, and just unable to get on the end of it there and create anything. But again, good to see Siena respond. Pressure down here a little bit, a couple half chances, giving up that second goal. They're not going to give up. They're going to keep fighting until the end.
That was Brianna Montanard defensively, the defensive player of the year in the Metro Atlantic, trying her best to keep this a 2-0 difference. Dispossessed to the middle. McNeilis looks up, and it's Arizona State ball. Olive Jones, who played critical minutes off the bench in half one, centers it. And Demkopoulos nicely clears it out. 25 minutes to play. Siena must get something going here quickly. Leska Carlier with an off touch, and it's a throw for the Saints as they bring in a quadrant of subs. So Siena bringing in a fresh set of new bodies, including, you see here, Morgan Camarda, the junior from New York. Hale shoots it up line. And all of a sudden, Jason, if you're Siena, they have applied more pressure up, but at what point do you keep your 5 defenders back or try to send one up the flank like a Grace George and play more offensive-minded? Yeah,
you wonder if they are going to make that change here with the subs they just brought in, or if they were going to get some of those starting group on the bench so they can kind of talk about it there before sending them back in. So I would expect to see that, very shortly here. 25 minutes, still plenty of time left to be played. Especially tough lead to hold, a 2-goal lead. You give up that one, and kind of mentalities on both sides start to swing. So I would expect to see a little bit of a change here in the next 5 to 10 minutes.
Montanard's touch stays in the box. That's always dangerous. And a good clearance that's knocked out by Melina Ortiz. You're right, though. Siena has committed so many bodies defensively, both with starters and subs. A team that surrendered just 3 goals all year has given up 2 here to Arizona State, who came in ranking 4th in the Pac-12 in scoring. Sullivan trying to create space, lays it back. Wilkinson out wide. Here's Johnson with a goal already today. Centers it in. I tell you, Leslie Adams may go down with a loss in this matchup, but she has been great between the pipes.
Absolutely. Bright future ahead for her. She's done a good job really kind of keeping her team in this game and having a strong presence.
Goalkeeper of the year in the Metro Atlantic. 3 shutouts on the season and a 4-0-2 record. Pressure of the Sun Devils has been relentless in this second half. Good out pass by Kiki Stewart. Now it's Ava Van Dersen in space. Centers it in. And nearly had a goal herself. That's a dangerous pass in the box.
Similar to what we saw towards the end of the first half when Siena makes some of these changes. That space out wide is starting to open up a little bit. Just unable to get a service where the runners were going.
You saw Sinead, number 11 in the green, defensively trying to mark her player as she ran back into the box. That's always tough.
Absolutely. And it's that 1 step, 2 steps they get ahead of you. It's tough to recover. So it's trying to communicate with people, pull people back. But again, just Arizona State has been, even with the 2-goal lead on this front foot, really kind of pushing things and being very aggressive, winning balls in the midfield and trying to keep it in this end.
Nice pass by Delgado that's centered in. And on the deflection, Jessica Hale able to keep possession. Arizona State was 60-40 possession in the first half. Very similar, if not more, here in the second, as that centering pass results in a corner kick. Now this is where clock becomes the best friend of the Sun Devils, searching for their first tournament win in 7 years.
Yeah, and they're still pushing numbers forward. Outside backs getting involved. You know, they're enjoying this game and really, you know, playing to their strengths. Being a strong attacking team, that's the mindset they have. So they're not gonna let off and, you know, sit back. They're gonna keep going here.
This exact moment was how Lucy Johnson scored her first goal, making it 2-0 in the 62nd minute. Johnson now serves it in. The height is one at the net and converted again. Olive Jones makes it 3-0.
Very dangerous service right on top of the goalkeeper. Just able to get up there and get a piece of it. Much better services in the second half, and Coach Winkworth's going to be pretty thrilled to get 2 goals off set pieces here in the second half, and being able to execute on those. As much as time as they spent on them yesterday in training, it's definitely paid off today.
I tell you, between Carlier and Jones, they credited a team goal officially, but a fantastic effort to not only head that ball above Adams, but to finish it off on the back post. This is where Arizona State can be dangerous. 2 second-half goals to pull in front. And now Siena has to push the tempo down 3. Gabby DeAngelis serves one dangerously. Cascapera is forced to clear out. Remember, this Siena club, 4 players with at least 3 goals. They have a balanced attack. They will need a bunch of that here with 20 minutes to play. There's a service in. That's a difficult ball. Trying to find Crone, who was tripped up, and it's a Siena throw. Carrie Crone at 5'1". They call her Pip. She is an emotional leader on this team, the junior midfielder. That's a dangerous ball in the box, but no one there on the back post. So we do get clarification. Leaski gets the official credit for the goal on that one at the net.
Okay.
Although Jones did about everything you could to head that ball and kind of tilt it towards goal. But if you ask both girls, they don't care who gets credit for
exactly.
it. It's a 3-0 lead.
It may have made itself in even if there wasn't a touch, but I'm sure her teammates will be fine with her taking it to make sure it got in the back of that goal and give them that 3-goal lead.
Trying to add a 4th as that ball rolls out of play. We do want to continue to give credit, though, to Siena in this matchup. Despite allowing 3 goals all year, this defense has been stout and at times has given Arizona State some fits, despite what the score says right now.
Absolutely. Tough mountain to climb for them to come back from 3 goals, but I'll tell you what, these 2 teams are both going to have mindsets that there's 20 minutes left and they've got to battle and compete. Siena is going to do everything they can to get on the scoreboard and leave this game with at least scoring 1 goal. And Arizona State's just they're going to think about how can we be strong defensively? What do we need to do to improve going into that next game? So it'll still be a very exciting finish to this game with both teams that are still going to leave everything out there.
Siena over the last 3 years has scheduled Villanova, Colorado, Air Force. They have tested themselves out of the conference to try to prepare for this moment in the NCAA's. First appearance since 2015. Now a promising run for Wanya, who is shielded off by Johnson and the foul on Siena.
And we may see Siena get a little more direct like that and try and get in behind the back line of Arizona State. They've got to push a little bit more now.
Caitlin Wanya, the sophomore attacker. She was an all-academic selection in the Metro Atlantic. One of 17 players on this roster with at least a 3.0 GPA.
Yeah, especially this year has been a challenging year academically. A lot of these students have been pushed into online classes or, hybrid classes, a little bit different than what they're used to. So to stay sharp in the classroom as well in the class field is, again, just shows the hard work that they put in.
The folks in Loudonville, New York must be very proud of this club. Not only winning a conference tournament, dethroning Monmouth, one of the best in that league year in and year out, but representing the conference very well today as both teams go to the bench here with 17 minutes to play. Morgan Camarda exits, and Emily McNeilis, who had the game-winning penalty kick, she is back in. You see number 4 in the green right there. However, for Arizona State, the team that's trying to make some modern history for this program, another chance dead on as Sullivan in the box is dispossessed by Montanard, who's been excellent defensively.
Can see why she's the defensive player of the year in that conference. She's been solid 1v1 defensively, physical battles, kind of cleaning up after teammates if things get through there. So she had a great game.
Arizona State with 2 second-half goals to pull in front. It was Lucy Johnson, her first, and a team goal credited to Lieska Carlier.
And both on set pieces. Defensively in the run of play, again, Siena has been fantastic as we expected. And, it's unfortunate, 2 set piece goals that are, they did a great job defending in front of them and led to a corner and had to give up those 2 goals there. But again, in the run of play, I think they've frustrated Arizona State at times. And, just the bodies that are back, the recovery of the defenders has been fantastic.
That's a nice header by McNeilis, but just a bit long of her target. And Serafin can't catch up to it as that's booted away by Cascapera. You mentioned the international flavor. Well, Cascapera, growing up in Italy, played for her U17 qualifiers for the national program. And that's a recruiting philosophy for Graham Winkworth. He wants to build the powers of a UCLA, of a USC as of late. Here at Arizona State, he thinks this program can be a consistent top 20 team by next year.
Absolutely, and he's been very successful recruiting internationally from back in his time in South Alabama.
Ooh, a dangerous run. Will this ball trickle in, and it's just wide. Dangerous chance for Arizona State. That's Kiki Stewart.
Good job by Adams to come out and put her under pressure and make her shoot a little bit earlier than she probably wanted to and just push a little bit wide. But yeah, Coach Winkworth has done a great job recruiting internationally over his years, and you see the likes of Mark Krikorian at Florida State, who's done a good job with that, and he knows the players he wants. And again, 3-4 years now that he's been there, he's done a good job getting this program back to competing not only in the conference but at the national level, which is a credit to him and what his staff has done since they've gotten there.
Florida State, the #1 team in the country, start their tournament this weekend against the winner of Elon and Milwaukee. Arizona State continuing to apply pressure, making life difficult. That's Corey Sullivan forcing the throw in for ASU. And we start to see the Sun Devils getting plenty of players on the bench warmed up for the final 13, 14 minutes of this matchup. It's Anna White checking in, the junior out of nearby Scottsdale, Arizona.
Definitely a good opportunity for Arizona State to get some players some rest, knowing that they're going to have another game most likely down the road here, and protect some of their players, but also just getting some experience for some of these other players who haven't necessarily played as much throughout the year.
Arizona State's gone through a rash of injuries in the middle of conference, so definitely, to your point, a chance to expand the bench for Graham Winkworth, and knowing with Duke coming up on the tables this Saturday, a quick turnaround as well. That's a high noon matchup. Now, if the weather stays like this with the wind and the temperature staying, that'll be a perfect day. If it gets up to the mid-80s like it might be later this afternoon, could be a different story. Although growing up in Tempe, these players are ready for heat. That is no question.
Yeah, I would say that probably wouldn't bother them as much. It's been warmer out there than it has here in North Carolina, but that'll be a good matchup to see Duke out there, #9. Those teams are at home watching and getting ready to see who they're going to play this weekend.
That's a loaded side of the bracket. Vanderbilt, who won the SEC in the regular season in the fall. Florida State, of course, the top team in the country. And then Duke and Southern California, who are excellent programs waiting in the wings.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting as this tournament advances, with some of the teams playing more of their games in the fall than they did in the spring, and SEC, ACC teams who maybe played a little bit fewer games this spring than teams who got their season in. So, interesting to see how things play out, and not really knowing what to expect from some of these teams because they haven't had as many games this spring.
That's what makes the national seeding so interesting. You think of North Carolina, who's consistently dominant, has just one loss on the year as the number 2 seed on the opposite side of the bracket. And UCLA, another firepower out of the Pac-12. Arizona State, however, does have that critical win in Westwood, defeating UCLA. An ASU team that was picked dead last in the Pac-12. Really the credit to what this team's been able to accomplish this year. There's a substitution for Siena late in the second half. Rachel Sullivan returns. And Soto heads to the bench in the final minutes. We will see much of the Siena team next year as the reigning champs. Just 4 seniors, all with the opportunity to return due to a COVID year, and that being afforded the availability. Arizona State, they're focused on the here and now. Fresh off a 3-game losing streak to end the regular season, a 10-day break has revamped this club. And now sitting on a 3-goal lead, trying to add to it. Promising chance in the box. Sullivan's shot is tipped. Second chance, and there's Adams again.
Yeah, definitely some Arizona State players coming off the bench who want to show their coaching staff that they're capable of getting it done. So they're not going to back down. They're still pushing forward, trying to take advantage of the opportunity of minutes that they're going to get in this game.
Especially for the likes of Kiki Stewart, number 17 in the white. She's had a few critical chances. And you never want to say an audition because every minute matters, but this is definitely a chance to open up the eyes of the coaching staff for ASU. That long ball by Dimkopoulos is going to be tough to track down for Cone. And that results in a goal kick. Siena was the talk of the town in Loudonville, New York this week, especially considering this is a rare year with the lack of regional scheduling. The likes of typically Rutgers, they would play early in the year, Penn State in the conference tournament, a new chance to play a Pac-12 team. And that was very exciting for Coach Steve Karbowski.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a very unique year for the NCAA tournament to not have things scheduled regionally, with everybody being here in North Carolina. So definitely seeing some of these matchups that you typically wouldn't see in other years. I think teams are enjoying that.
I mean, think of this side of the bracket if it continues. Arizona State and Duke. That's not a matchup you see very often in the second round of the tournament. And then Southern California and Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Those 2 winners will face off. That is not something you see every year in an NCAA tournament. Ole Miss with a crazy penalty shootout win over Bowling Green last night. That went into extra PKs just for Ole Miss to advance. This matchup seems pretty set in stone here with just under 10 minutes to play. The Siena Saints have done so much to climb this mountain. 4 wins in 2019. They have almost doubled that with a 6-0-2 mark. Not only that, but taking down the defending 3-time champions, the Monmouth Hawks, in the conference title last week. There's Jones at the edge of the box. Montenard, a nice defensive play. Siena still searching for that first shot on target. They have been content playing this Clampton style.
The score line's a little bit deceiving. I think Siena's done a really good job defensively, just never able to get anything clicking offensively. Again, credit to Arizona State's defensive. They've done a good job. They've done a good job team defending like they were going to come in here and do, and they do a good job putting numbers around the ball and making it difficult, but just nothing really clicking for Siena offensively so far.
It's a great slide tackle by Lucy Johnson. It was a huge second goal that really broke the scoreboard open. That was in the 62nd minute. If you're thinking for Arizona State, defense has been key, like plays like this.
Yeah, that's the difference, right? Willingness to go down and make tackles and sacrifice your body. That's it's a sign of a good defender.
Here's Melina Ortiz, one of 10 freshmen on this Siena squad. She used to throw it in. ASU has about emptied the bench here with just under 8 minutes to play in the second half. How about a turnaround for Arizona State? First time beating Stanford, USC, and UCLA. Just the 4th team in Pac-12 history to accomplish that, and that's in one spring season.
Yeah, again, super challenging conference. You're every weekend you're playing another powerhouse, and so for them to have the success they did this season is a good sign and shows why they're moving on to the next round here in a few minutes.
Third corner kick of the matchup for Siena. They had 2 in the first half. Low line drive service is knotted out. Now Ortiz, difficult shot, is scooped up by Cascupera. There's your first shot on target for the Saints, and a pretty good one from way outside.
You got to take your chances if you can get them, and when your offense isn't creating much, put something on frame and see what happens.
Cascupera searching for a 6th shutout and needed about 6-7 inches there to preserve it. Now a critical chance from Mons, who scores the first goal for Siena.
It's going to be called offside.
Oh, missed the offside flag on that one.
Good little combination and run in there, but just a step ahead.
Gianna Mons, the senior, wanted to punctuate her season. As you see, Steve Karbowski in his 22nd year was hoping this one was not called offside.
Just a half a body inside of her, and unfortunate though, because that was a fantastic goal. Good little combination and movement off the ball there to get him behind.
And you were mentioning too, Jason, those diagonal runs are so critical, and that was a nice play by Mons to get open.
See if that gives them a little bit of life here to finish off the game. Corner kick and then a goal called offside.
I tell you, the 50 or so Siena family and parents that are here in attendance, they're about as rowdy as anyone we've seen, and they are loving this moment.
They have traveled well, and they're letting everybody know they're here.
That crowd went nuts on the first goal that was called off with the offsides. That's what you love to see as well. Many of these parents can't get to every matchup this year with some attendance restrictions and things of that nature, and it's neat that both these clubs, Arizona State all the way out from Tempe, Arizona, and Loudonville, New York for Siena, both able to travel and watch their daughters and student athletes play today.
Absolutely. It's a big moment for all these players getting to play in the NCAA tournament. A lot of players go their whole career without ever having that opportunity. So, parents doing a good job coming out and supporting the teams and supporting their daughters and watching them play. So,
I just love the parents that bring the RVs down and camp out for the week. I mean, that's where it really gets special.
Got to do it in style.
And if you win long enough in this tournament, you could spend 3.5 weeks in North Carolina. It truly is this year a whole one-shop experience.
That is the unique thing. When I saw these teams talking about we're packing all of our stuff, I didn't realize that, once they're here, they're here. So if you make a run into the Final Four, you could almost become a resident at that point.
Especially with these clubs all staying in hotels. Even the likes of Duke and North Carolina will be at these regional sites, so no one playing truly a home game, while some may be a little closer than others, of course. Credit Arizona State defensively, allowing just one shot on target today. Sun Devils had gone scoreless in 3 straight matches, and here they are about to pitch a shutout against Siena.
That's when you can see teams make runs in these NCAA tournaments. They get the confidence coming off a game, had success, scored 3 goals. If they're able to keep a clean sheet, that's really gonna boost that confidence going into that next weekend, and get them ready for that second round.
Now a risky pass in the box. Arizona State has made a goalkeeper change late in this half, and Mons shoots one long over Amanda Green. the new goalie, the redshirt sophomore to Phoenix. And a nice moment for Siena as that ball rests in some difficult waters back there behind the trees as Dimkopoulos, one of the captains, defensively exits for the final time. I tell you, being a ball shagger in the NCAA tournament has a whole new sense of pressure and expectation. They want those soccer balls quick, and you need them in a hurry.
Yeah, and with all the protocols this year, we've got clean balls in between, so you'll see them spaced around the field on cones and being wiped down and sanitized prior to being used again. So it's
and Jason, you know, as a coach, 5 minutes left, a 1-0 game. That ball is required within seconds.
Yeah.
So they need it quickly to throw it back in. There's a great spin in the box, creating space for Talia Herman-Watt. Shot is deflected. Second chance knocked away. And the Siena defense holding firm in the closing minutes. Here's Sophia Dimkopoulos. Just a redshirt junior, but a fourth-year player, has really guided this program from the bottom of the Metro Atlantic all the way to the top in a one-year span.
Here you see Siena's defense just like the rest of the game. Even though one player gets beat, there's other players there to help cover, block shots, willing to put their body on the line. It's great team defending.
That was Corey Sullivan trying to score another goal for Arizona State. She had the game winner against UCLA in overtime. What a moment for the Sun Devils on the road. Now they have 3 and a chance for more. This is Sullivan again. Lamino defensively. She is sharp. That's an excellent play by Deanna Lamino. Siena with a dispossession. And kind of emblematic of this whole game, Arizona State immediately 3 defenders back and no chance for a transition play. Here come the Sun Devils with numbers. Pass up ahead. Stewart's shot deflected. Second chance, Sullivan. And the Sun Devils with a punctuation to close out half number 2 on the goal by Corey Sullivan. What a moment for Arizona State. 3 second-half goals, including right here by Sullivan.
Just a great individual effort. Doesn't give up on the play. Unlucky bounce there by the defender who blocks the initial shot. Ball sits there for, and again, but good finish, good composure. Tucked up in the corner.
Corey Sullivan stepping up in the second half, returning from that ACL injury that had her miss much of last season. Siena down to the final minute. Trying to wrap up what has been a fantastic year in the Metro Atlantic. 6-0-2 mark leading into today's game. And to your point, Jason, despite the final score, there's been a valiant effort from the Siena Saints Club trying to add a goal late. Mon centers it in and quickly bashed away.
Well, I think Coach Winkworth will be really happy with his group. They're fighting to the end. They don't want to give up that goal. They want to finish this game with a shutout. And again, 4 goals.
Look
Not
at
too many
Arizona
coaches
State
won't be happy
out with
that.
numbers. Sullivan wants a second goal. Letting her run. Sullivan on Montanard, the all-conference defender. Good move to create space. A final chance for Arizona State is wrapped up by Leslie Adams as the Sun Devils are moving on to the second round of the NCAA tournament with a 4-0 victory over Siena to face Duke here this Saturday. Arizona State with its 5th win in NCAA tournament history, 4 goals, including 3 second-half strikes, and a dominant victory to move on to the next round. We'll take a quick break and wrap this puppy up from the first round of the tournament. It's Arizona State a 4-0 victory. Welcome back to Greenville, North Carolina, as the Arizona State Sun Devils punch their ticket into the second round of the NCAA tournament following today's 4-0 victory over the Siena Saints, the champions of the Metro Atlantic Conference. Arizona State started early and often offensively, with Nicole Douglas putting her team ahead in the 10th minute.
Yeah, just an onslaught of offense from Arizona State from the beginning. Just, goal scorer mentality there. Find herself in the right spot. And
how about this shot by Lucy Johnson, making it 2-0.
Second half, they came out swinging, and they finally broke free there on that corner there.
Another corner this time. Jones got a header on it. And then the Carlier finish, a 3-0 lead. At that point, Arizona State started to pour it on in the closing minutes.
Yeah, they're going to be happy scoring 4 goals. They're efficient in front of the goal. 10 shots on target was great for them. But to score 4 goals in any game's a great success. And I think Arizona State, exactly who we expected to be, a strong attacking team, able to put 4 goals in.
Very competitive first half. Arizona State pulling away in the second half on the goal by Johnson. Siena, 7 shots on target, a lot more of those in the first half, and 1 critical shot in the second, as Arizona State moves on to take on Duke in the second round as the 9 seed in this half of the bracket alongside Florida State. That'll be coming up this Saturday at 12 Eastern on ESPN3. So plenty to play for Arizona State as they head on to the next round of the tournament. Their first win in the NCAA since 2014. For Jason Hamilton, I'm Evan Budrovich. Thanking you for joining us today. This is a presentation of ESPN. You can watch this broadcast online on the ESPN app. But for first round coverage here in Greenville, North Carolina, it's Arizona State, a 4-0 victory over Siena, moving on to the second round of the NCAA championships.